So our next method will be public function called query, and we pass our SQL statement to it. Now, first of all, we pass the SQL statement to our last query parameter. So if there are any problems, we can display this the entire SQL statement which we pass to the function. So we pass this parameter, assign this parameter to this, assign the SQL statement to this parameter. Then we create variable result, and we assign the MySQL query function to it, passing the SQL statement plus our connection string. Now we also run next function, the function which we create right after this one, which will be this, the method display query, and we pass this result, the result of this MySQL query, and at the end we return result itself. So now if we create this new method, public function display query, and we're obviously passing this result. So now the only thing we basically have to do is to check if it hasn't been successful. So if the result didn't execute, if this function MySQL query didn't execute successfully, then we will obviously display some error. So let's prepare some output message. Database query failed, colon, and we display our MySQL error, and concatenating this with the br tag, and then let's extend this variable last SQL query was, and now we basically assign the last query parameter to which we have already assigned the SQL which has been passed to query method. And obviously right at the end we simply execute die function, which will stop the code from executing and displays this error message. And then else we will fill up our affected rows parameter with the number of which it has been returned from a database as the number of affected rows, basically. So MySQL affected rows, and we passed our connection string, which is this con db. So that's all this function does. It's basically checking if the function, if this MySQL query hasn't been successful, then obviously by passing this variable, we're telling it hasn't been successful, display error, there was some problem, so it's going to display error. If it's not, then obviously this function is not going to affect anything, we simply return the result. Otherwise, obviously when we return the result, if it was successful, then obviously automatically our property affected rows will have the value assigned to it, which will basically represent the number of affected rows. If we updated just one record, it will be 1. If we updated 2 records, it will be 2. If we've inserted just one record, it also will be 1, and so on. So that's basically these two functions. Let's move to the next video, and let's have a look at the last 3 functions, methods within this DBase class.